You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold fans. So this Carter Walton and Hope Logan romance came out of nowhere, but I think it is going to be great for both of them. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I want to dive into 5 reasons this could be one of the best romances that we've had on the CBS soap in quite a while. One of the reasons, I'm not going to include it on the list, but this is like a top one for me. I don't know about you guys. It's new. And I love new, especially when they're churning up that tired Brooke Taylor thing again. And I like fresh new things that we haven't seen 100 times. So while that's not on my list of 5, that is always foremost in my mind when a soap does something new and exciting. So right off the bat, the first reason I think Carter and Hope could work is that there's no past messy history with all the complications like she's had in her life before. Like with Thomas Forrester and Hope, you know, he participated in the Baby Beth death lie. There was all that obsessive behavior, the gaslighting, that fake wedding thing with Zoe to trick Hope, the freaking mannequin of her. And it was just all so messy. And because of all that, it took a lot for Hope to believe that Thomas was a changed man. And I do think he had changed, but even after that brain surgery, he still faked that CPS call on her mom, Brooke Logan. So there was a lot of things that Hope needed to forgive as she was falling for Thomas. And like with Liam, there was all that cheating, his waffling, his ongoing love for Steffi, even while he was with Hope. And of course, his total lack of empathy and forgiveness about her kissing Thomas when he had done so much worse that led to the divorce. So with Hope and Carter, it's a clean slate, and I think that means a lot. So number 2, another thing to consider is how friends and family react to a relationship and how it affects everything. So like with Thomas, of course, Brooke despised the fact that Hope was with him for like 99.9% of their relationship. And that was a constant issue for Hope and Thomas. And Steffi didn't want them together either. I mean, heck, she ran Thomas out of town to get him away from Hope. And Liam was always hassling Hope about Thomas as well. Basically, almost every single day that Hope was involved with Thomas, she had to defend her choice, and Hope was always having to explain and justify herself to people who hated that pairing, you know, friends, family, loved ones. And it was just a whole series of obstacles on actually both sides of the family. Meanwhile, Hope and Carter will likely get a universal thumbs up all around from their friends and family, a lot of which are overlapping. Brooke will approve. I think her Aunt Katie will also approve despite her past with Carter because she only wants the best for both. And little Beth already likes Carter, and even Liam admits that the Forrester Creations COO is a really good guy. That is huge, not facing that obstacle either. Number 3, this is another reason that it could really work. Hope and Carter have known each other for quite a while. They weren't like bowling buddies or anything, but they've worked together for years, and Hope and Carter know a lot about each other simply by being in each other's lives for so long, personally and professionally, just because the overlap of personal relationships outside of work. And they've been friends for a while, casual friends, but friends. And because there are no secrets at Forrester Creations, Carter has heard all about sketchy things that Hope has done, like kissing Finn and kissing Thomas while she was married with Liam, and then, you know, fooling around with Thomas all over the office and just a lot of things. And naturally, Hope has heard about Carter's missteps, like him sleeping with his boss's wife, Quinn. ditching Paris at the altar to keep sleeping with Quinn and just other sketchy deeds. Not that he's a terribly sketchy guy, but there's been some things here and there. So Carter and Hope don't have to have any of those awkward get to know you conversations where you have to explain the mistakes of your past, right? And that's definitely making it easier to build on, I think. And that's also why I think they can evolve quickly from coworkers to being in a romance and maybe all the way to happily ever after. Number 4, this reason I think Hope could be great for Carter is she can help him experience something he's never done in his life before, like actually getting married and being a husband. Hope's been married a few times, like Liam, I think 3 times, once to Wyatt, very briefly to Thomas, like for a day before she annulled it. She has been trapped in a gondola and watched Liam marry Steffi. She waited at the altar while Liam ran to save Ivy when Quinn dumped her in the Seine River in Paris back in the Kim Matula days. So Hope has done a whole lot of bride and grooming over the years. Meanwhile, Carter has never had a wife. He's had 3 fiancés, though. Carter broke his engagement with Maya Avant when he found out she still wanted Rick Forrester. And when he began seeing Zoe Buckingham, he moved way too fast, moving her in and proposing really soon. And then she betrayed him by pursuing Zende Forrester. So he called things off with her also. And then his last fiance was Zoe's sister, Paris Buckingham. After pursuing and luring her away from Zende, he turned around and got involved with Quinn behind Eric's back and later with Eric's approval. But then Quinn crashed their wedding and asked Carter to choose her, so he ditched Paris at the altar. And as for Hope, her last marriage proposal was Thomas, but she wasn't ready. She refused him, and so he dumped her. But I think with a less complicated man and situation like with Carter, I think Hope might say yes to a proposal after an appropriate amount of time. And given all his past proposals, clearly Carter wanted to get married. So I could totally see Hope and Carter getting engaged, making it down the aisle, and saying their vows. And if so, Carter would finally have a wife in his life. And that could be really sweet. But the big question would be who would officiate, because he's the one who usually does the weddings on Bold and the Beautiful. Number 5, the last reason I can see Hope and Carter being good is the chance to expand her family and to start one for him. Hope's got one biological daughter, Beth Spencer, and then she adopted Douglas Forrester, but he's not even on this continent. She misses him, but he's gone with Thomas. And as for Carter, he's never had a kid, but he likes them. He's good with them, and he wants a family. And on a recent episode, Liam even mentioned that Carter would be a good dad, and I agree. And if you remember, when Hope was with Thomas, she told Liam she was ready to have another kid. And he asked if she meant have a kid with Thomas. Hope kind of clapped back at Liam and said, definitely not with you. So that was like still during their angsty arguing phase. But clearly Hope wasn't ready for those big things just yet, but she might be ready for all of it with Carter, the new life, the ring, the wedding, the kids, and I think it could be really good.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.